Hello, everyone. This is New Generation Man by Shegun Basharon, and thank you so much for joining into today's episode. As you know, sure that everybody gets the feel of Father's Day, and generally have something to take away. So because of that, I decided to bring one of a close friend and a brother, and he's currently the host of the show, which most of you may have seen on my channel, Men's Boots. And he's an amazing personality, and he's also a father. And I decided to bring him onto the show today to ask him a questions about being a father in the 21st century. So the title of today's topic is Being a Father in the 21st Century. So without further ado, let's welcome Sam Samuel to the show. Sam Samuel, welcome to New Generation Man.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure being here. It's a show I've always wanted to be in. So thank you for finally getting me on your show. I'm hoping we'll have a
All
very
right.
good time together.
Yes. Thank you so much for making out the time. So you know what, right now, so let's just get into it. So first thing I'd like to ask, yes, Father's Day is coming up. It's a time that we, celebrate fathers and things like that. Yeah, but what I want to know from you, first of all, is what does fatherhood mean to you? You being a father, for you, what does that mean? What does that mean to you?
Well, fatherhood means a lot of things to me. It would depend on what day of the week we're talking about, because the role of a father differs between events. Generally, fatherhood is all about catering, is about leadership, is about
Okay.
being visionary, is about
Mm-hmm.
being protective, is about a lot
Okay.
of things, right? You can't tie fatherhood to one thing in particular, right? And
Okay.
fatherhood is so essential that people tend to underrate it. It might
Okay.
seem like a contradiction. How can something essential be underrated? I'll give you a
Underrated.
very clear example. Most people never really think about their heart.
Mm.
As important as the heart is, right? When they wake up in the morning, they do some stretches, they brush their teeth, they powder their face, they take their bath, they fill up their tummy. People don't think about their heart. As
Okay.
important as the heart is, right? People don't necessarily think about the heart. It's only when there is an issue with the heart that people pay attention to the heart. People don't normally just pay attention to the heart. Fatherhood is a little bit like that. If you look, check the celebrations in the world, they celebrate
Mm-hmm.
motherhood. Motherhood and mothers are well celebrated. They celebrate different holidays, but they really do not celebrate fatherhood like that. Up until recently, people didn't really talk about Father's
Yeah.
Day or celebrating fathers. And even during
Mm.
Father's Day, people expect to get something from a father. They really don't naturally think about doing
Yeah.
something for a father until
Father, yeah.
something goes wrong. Yes, until school fees is not paid, or until house rent is not paid, or until the
Yeah.
until the need for a father comes up, people don't just ordinarily think about the father. So that's what I'm
Father.
saying, that they're so essential. It's like oxygen. Nobody just thinks about oxygen until you're in a room without oxygen. Then it dawns on you how important oxygen
Jones on
is.
you.
Right?
It is in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
get
like
you.
I said, so to me, fatherhood means a lot of things, right? So we need to narrow
Okay.
it down to a
Down.
specific thing that will
Mhm.
be easier to talk
Thing
about.
to talk about. So, but I like what you said, and I'm happy that we're having this conversation in terms of fatherhood. Not until very recently, that fathers were being, celebrated. And I was even thinking about it recently that we have a lot of, Nigerian songs about my mother. I'm celebrating my mother. I love my
Mm-hmm.
mom and
Mm-hmm.
all that. I just thought about
Mm-hmm.
it recently that there is no Nigerian song celebrating fathers. And it's
No.
and a Nigerian artist can actually come up with that. It's something that is really going to be very nice. Yes, I know there are a lot of
No,
other
no, but it won't
artists.
sell. It won't sell.
I was saying, like I say, fathers are not really being celebrated, and I'm happy that the conversation is changing now, and we're trying to make things differ. So, for you, I would like to ask you, Sam, um, as raising your son, and looking at your own experiences growing up, what are the things that you experienced as a child and that you are now changing in your own child? So, what are the lessons that you took from your father that you're passing down, or what are the experiences that you had that were not so good that you are not trying to pass down? So can you tell us a bit more about that?
Okay. For me, I had quite a number of things I got from my dad in terms of lessons that I'm praying to God that I'm able to pass down as well as it was passed down to me. I have a very, very, very rich heritage. Um, I
Okay.
had a very wonderful grandfather on both sides. I had wonderful grandfathers on both sides. One was educationally very literate, a magistrate. The other one was a very high chief, right? And they both were good custodians of culture, manly culture, right? Not just tradition, but manly culture. So each time I went on holidays to visit each of them, there was something to
Mm-hmm.
get, right? So I had a very, very rich childhood. Then with my father directly, coming from that kind of background, he lived beyond his time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even at a young age, he already started raising me to understand what it meant to be a man. He started raising
Mm-hmm.
me to understand responsibility. He started raising me to understand that nobody owed me anything. Yes, things will be
Mm-hmm.
given to me. People would help me do stuff, but nobody owes me anything. So if someone says no, it's not big. I shouldn't feel entitled, like, oh, why would he say no to me? Is he not
He's
my
saying that
father?
to
Is
you.
he not my uncle? Yeah, is he not
Mm.
this? So that he ensured I did not have that sense of entitlement, right? Even though a
Entitlement.
lot was given to me, yes. So that then he also spent time. He did not
Mm.
assume that I knew stuff. So he would sit down with me and he would have
Mm.
conversations, with me with regards different areas of life, right? I didn't know that that was biblical until I was going through the scripture as a grown up,
Mm.
and I realized that it was in scripture, in Proverbs, where it says, these things that I teach you, teach your children, teach them at home, teach them when you're walking down the street, teach them when they're about to
Mm.
go to bed, teach them when they wake up. So that was exactly what my
Mm.
father would do with me. He would sit me down and run scenarios with me. And I'm not talking
Mm.
about as a teenager. I'm talking about age 5, age 6, age 7,
Mm.
right. So he will run through scenarios with me. If this happens to you, what should you do? If somebody does this to you, what should you
Mm.
do? When I give him my scenarios, he said, no, this is the right way to do, this is the right way to do. So he was deliberate
Mm.
in the way he raised me. He made me understand what he wanted me to become, and he walked the process with me. So he was not
Mm.
an absentee landlord. He was not just a father because he gave birth to me, right? He was a part of the process. So for
Process.
me, in answering your question, for my son now, I'm
Mm.
doing my best to ensure that I don't fall short with what has been given to me, which means I ensure that I'm part of his growing up process. Now, however
Mm.
busy I am, I try to get home early enough the days that I can, and
Mm.
we have schedules. So we don't just take anything that comes. We have a timetable for this, for that, for that. So for today, we have certain things that we're doing. For tomorrow, we have certain things we're doing. We have the days where we take a walk around the estate. We have the days where we go to cut our hair and we do it together. We have the days where we do things. So I'm
Mm.
able to teach him. I'm not waiting for a visitor to tell him how I
Mm.
want things done. I am teaching him father to son the way we
Mm.
do things in our family.
Mm.
Do you get
Okay,
it?
there's
So
some.
that's what I
Are you
learned.
learn? Yeah, there's something
Yeah.
I'd like to touch on from what you said is the intentionality. Because from what I
Yes.
noticed, a lot of fathers these days, they just let things go by. They are not really intentional in raising children. And to be honest, I actually get it in the sense that there's a lot of pressure in, being the head of the family, trying to provide, trying to do this and do that. And they miss out on a lot of things and they are not being intentional. So it's leading me to my next question in the sense that I
Okay.
know that, a lot of fathers are trying to provide. And as a result of that, they miss out on lots in terms of their kids. So the question I want to
Hmm.
ask is, as a father, how can you balance, your busy lifestyle and, being intentional, to be able to do what you need to do as a father so that in the end, we can have a new generation of men that are, holistic, strong, and that can, be greater to the society. So in your own view, what do you think, new fathers and fathers can do to kind of like balance that out?
Okay, so you've answered a part of it when you use the word intentional in your question, right? But
Yeah.
in being intentional is the B part of it. The A part of it is being visionary. Now,
Mm,
if a father is visionary, that is
mhm,
what fuels being intentional. I'll give a very simple example. If I wake up in the morning and I said I was going to Ikeja, right?
okay.
And let's say that I at the moment I'm at, let's say, Lekki, and I said, okay, I will be going to Ikeja tomorrow morning. Because I
Mm,
already have a clear destination, I will not wake up and start heading to Ekpe, or I will
mm,
not wake up and now loaf around. Because I already
mhm,
gave myself a direction or a destination, I know my direction because I have a destination. So I said that to say a lot of parents, their destination is where the challenge is. Their
mhm,
destination in this case is they want to make enough money, send their children to school. Hopefully, they
mhm,
come out of school and they get a good job.
mm,
That's supposed to be means. That's not supposed to be the end. So they're
mm,
supposed to have a clearer vision. Okay, I want to
mm,
have a family that stands for XYZ, for
mm,
instance. So because I want to have a family that stands for XYZ, right? Everything that we do must sum up to putting us on that track of XYZ.
mm,
I'll give another example. An Igbo man, a typical Igbo man from the East, right? He owns a shop in Alaba.
mhm,
He wants his
mhm,
children to make the shop go from just in Alaba to become global.
mm,
This is a vision, very clear.
mm.
So even
Very
when
clear.
he's sending his kids to school, he's sending them into school, letting them know that the reason why you are going to school is so that you come and take over this business and make this business go global. So when they are on holiday, they come to the shop to come and learn how to trade. And every break they have, he's showing them the tricks of the trade. So going to school is a means to an end. The kind of school they go to is so that they can come and become better entrepreneurs. That's a man with a vision.
Yeah.
Do you get it? So that's what a
Yeah.
lot of parents need to do. So when you have that clear vision, no matter how busy you are able to create time to lead in the way that the children should go. You could have like take for my own family, right? You know well, I have a normal 9 to 5. Then I have
Yeah.
other projects that I run by the side, and that's me.
Yeah.
My wife she has a 9 to 5, and she have 3 companies that she's running apart from some other side hustles that she has. So my
Mm,
wife and I are very busy people, right? See how many days it took us to schedule this meeting that we're having right now,
yeah.
right? We are very busy people, yet Leroy has his time. Leroy is my son, by the way. Leroy has his time
Mhm,
from my wife and from me. He has his time. He knows when I come home late, infringing into his time, he tells me, Dad, you're late. You're supposed to have been here 10 minutes ago. I'm like, sorry, I was caught up with XYZ. So he has his time. We plan it in the morning. So he knows that, oh, we're going to be having XYZ time together doing ABC.
mhm.
Am I busy? Yes, I am. But because of where I'm going to my
Going to do.
destination is the most important thing to me.
Mm,
Every other thing is means to an end. So anything that takes me out of getting me to that destination is seen to be an antibody. I find a way to
mm,
isolate it. It cannot be a full
yeah.
part of my life.
Before-
So I hope that answers your
Yes.
question.
Yeah, actually it does. Then I actually want to even touch on something that you said the last time we were on men's boots. Okay. I think it was an offline conversation. You gave an example of how you were able to spend more time with your son because you decided to, you know, get him ready in the morning. Yes, and instead
Yes.
of allowing his mom to do that. I think that is actually a tip that can also give fathers. I know that you are busy and all that, but if you
Mm-hmm.
could, maybe on some specific days, you could
Mm-hmm.
offer, to get your son ready so that you can use the opportunity as a bonding time. Because before you know it, these children will just grow up on you and you are hardly around. So
Okay.
as much as people are busy, I feel because when you mentioned that, I was like, oh, that's a good strategy that
Mm.
you use that, making sure that okay, you got your son ready for school and you got an opportunity to have a bonding time with him. Do you understand? Because I feel that other men and fathers can actually learn from that strategy. It could be something else. It may not be getting him ready. For some people, it could maybe picking him up from school on some specific days. Because
Mm.
as you know, for children, they always look forward to things like that. Oh, today is Thursday. My dad is picking him up today. Do you
Mm.
understand? So
Yeah.
different strokes for different folks. So, but just to just add on that, that's kind of a strategy that people can use to kind of like spend more
Yeah, I
time.
just
Yeah,
think
we
that
wanted to yeah.
they can, if you look inward, if you look deep enough, you would find those opportunities. Now that you mentioned that, I used to bait him every morning when he was a little younger, so before going to
Okay.
school. So I bait him, then they take him. So it was not just a one-off thing; it was a routine. I usually would bait him.
Yeah.
But as things grew, what now happened? I transited from being the one to bait to give him a bath to taking him to school. So every morning, and when they finish dressing him up, I take him to school every morning before I leave for work. I drop him off, then I leave for work, right? Then I ensure that maybe 60 or 70% of the time we do his homework together, right? So when I
Mm,
return from work, I ask him, "Have you done your homework?" He says, "Oh, no," because he's waiting for us to do it together. We do his homework, then we
yeah.
do other academic work together. Then I make corrections, then we do some practices, then he goes to bed. Then sometimes, like weekends, we play football together, not with the whole crowd, him
Mm,
and I. We play football
mm,
together, we do runs together. So
mm,
it's not because, oh, there's so much time to get that done. It's
mm,
because we make the time to get that done. And let me explain
mhm,
the consequence of this. I tell people when I'm having a class with them, I said, see, the way you treat your children when they are growing up is the way they will treat you
mhm,
after they are grown. So if you are too
of course.
busy to take care of your children because you are going to get money, no problem. When they grow up, when you ask for their presence, they will throw money back at you. So you find scenarios
Mm,
now when someone gets a
yeah.
call from the dad or the mom, like, "Hey, how are you guys doing?" They say, "Fine." This is so the next question the child is asking is, "What do you want?" Then the mother say, "Oh, there's something this, there's something that." They say, "Okay, how much is it?" Yeah, it's okay. I'll send you the money. They do not know that that call was
Mm,
not necessarily just to ask some money. They want to see you, they want to spend time with you, but they are not able to because when they were in charge, that was exactly
mhm,
what they did to you. You came back from school. How was school? Fine. Daddy, they said you should pay school fees. They threw money at you. So now that you're
yeah.
grown, you think that is the way to show love and affection and care.
An
Just throw
objection.
money at the
Yeah.
person. Yeah. So if you
Mm,
don't spend this time with your children, you are investing and you will surely
mm,
get it with dividends. With so much dividends, they are going to throw so much
yeah.
money at you. This is money you are throwing at them. And at that age, maybe it's not money that you want. Maybe you are looking for
Yeah.
time to counsel them and transfer knowledge of what you've gotten over the years. And it becomes difficult to do so because they don't know that part
To
of
do
you.
the other part. Actually, I like the point you're making in the sense that in this society, a lot of people have placed the value on money, and they feel
Yes.
like money is the most important thing. And
I am
in
not
a way,
underrating money. I am not
yes,
underrating money.
exactly.
I'm
We are
just
not
saying it has its
underrating money.
place.
It has its place, exactly. Do you understand?
Mm,
In a mindset for some people, they feel that that's the most important thing. But as much as money is important, there's also a place of attention. It made me think about a story I heard online, I think some weeks back. It was talking about a man that he
mm,
was old, and he wanted his children to come for his, I think, 60th or 70th birthday. I'm not too sure. And I think
mm,
the children were abroad. You understand?
mm,
And it wasn't quite easy for them to come and all that. And in the end, three of his kids, all of them gave one excuse or the other. Then the daughter that was even supposed to come at the end, she couldn't
mm,
make it. You understand?
mm,
So he now
mm,
was now a time of reflection for him to kind of like think, oh, why did these children, not think to come for my birthday, after everything had done. Then he now realized
mm,
that, he was an absent father. He always made
mhm,
sure that money was available, and the children actually did have a good life and all that, and that's why they were
mhm,
abroad at the time.
mhm,
But
mhm,
he now really learned his lesson that he should have actually spent more time, because he wanted to reap something he didn't invest. Do you understand?
mhm,
He wanted their
mhm.
attention in terms of, okay,
Yeah,
coming for his birthday and all that. But the point was that he wasn't there for them when they needed him. So in their
yeah.
mind, they didn't see the need to take that extra effort to come all the way to Nigeria and all that. Do you understand?
It
But the
wasn't
point
worth
is
it.
that if he was, exactly, to them, it wasn't worth it. They just maybe sent money for the birthday, feeding to your
Yeah,
example.
exactly.
So
Mm-hmm.
exactly. So it feels to the point of that. Yes, as much as it's important for the role of men to actually be the provider of the home and all that, it's important not for them to neglect the place of attention and actually being there for their kids in terms of, if they are interested in sports, be available to go for their rehearsals, recitals, inter-house sports, And I think schools nowadays, they actually, make parents involved in things like that because they
They try.
understand, yes,
They
they try,
try.
they understand the importance of, parents being active, in things like that. So because if we stay here, I will just, talk for hours and hours. So, but another thing I would like us to is I want you to give some final advice, to fathers out there, to aspiring fathers, what are the things you think they can do? And and in terms of, and I also wanted to touch on, as we touch on vision, because another issue I noticed is that a lot of men don't have a vision, and that's why maybe
Mm.
their family suffers. They just feel,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I just want to get married, have a couple of kids, and then train them, make sure they are okay, and I retire. The point is, what's
Mm.
the vision for the family? Because they say where there
Mm.
is no vision, abuse is inevitable. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because if you
Yeah.
don't have a vision of what you want to achieve with your family, then don't have one.
Mm.
So
Yes.
being a man that is visionary is very important.
Mm.
Do you understand? You
Mm.
don't have to be a big business person before you can be
No, no,
visionary.
no, no, no.
In
You
the
don't have
little
to.
exactly in the little family that you have, in the little things that you're doing, there needs to be a vision. So I think part of the problem, that men in generation are having is lack of vision. So I think
Mm.
that's something that is also feeding into some of the challenges that men are currently facing, and that's why I appreciate this conversation. But to
Mm.
kind of round up, I'd like just to give some final advice to everyone, to fathers, aspiring fathers, on what they can do, how they can find their vision, steps on what they can do, to become more active, so that in the end we have a new generation of men that are, active and are doing the right things. Yeah. So let's hear from you.
All right. So this particular question is one that we can spend 2, 3 days on, and we won't get to the bottom of it. So I will try
Yeah.
my best to make it as short as possible. First and
Yeah.
foremost, men needs to understand that they are the seed for for the society, and I'll explain what that means.
Yeah. Okay.
When you look at the hierarchy of stuff, you have the society. Then after the society, you have the family. Then after the family,
Mm-hmm.
you have men.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if you look at it, a man is the seed that creates a society. Every man needs to understand that position, the importance of the position of a man. So the
Mm-hmm.
society that we have it right now is born out of the collectiveness of the visionary of men in total. So if you say the
Mm-hmm.
society is bad, it's because the collectiveness of the vision of men in total is bad.
It's
So if
bad.
we
Yeah.
start to correct our personal understanding of who a man is, what a man is, then the society bit by bit starts to get better because you now know the importance of a man. You now know that, okay, because a man is important and the role of a man is important, you do not pick any kind of spouse. You pick a
Mm.
spouse that is in line with where you are going to. I normally give this analogy. I say you need to know who you are as a man. So I normally will use food. Are you eba? Are
Yeah.
you rice? Are you yam? You know, which one are you?
Mm-hmm.
Whichever food you are will determine which kind of soup you should be paired with. So let us say
Mm.
that you are amala, right? You don't have any business trying to pair yourself with tomato with egg sauce. So egg sauce in itself is fantastic, right? But you don't pair
Yeah.
amala with egg sauce. So
Yeah.
you need to know you as a man. Who are you? Are you eba? Are you yam? Are you rice? Are you amala? Know you first. Know where
Yeah.
you are going to,
Yeah.
right? In terms of your destination, right? So if you know your destination, then you now know if this person you want to pair yourself with is actually going in that same direction or not. It does not matter how the person looks, whether the person is tall, the person is have an hourglass shape, whether the person
Mm-hmm.
have very good phonetics, is well
Yeah.
read, is not well read. All that are all means to an end. Knowing
Mm-hmm.
clearly who you are, where you are going to, the kind of family you want to have, that will now determine who you are taking as your teammate to build it. First place.
Yeah.
Once that is done, once you get that
Mm-hmm.
person into your team, you need to clearly explain to your spouse, this is where we are going to. My advice is have that discussion before you guys even pair up together, just in case she says that is not where she wants to go to. So you guys are
Yeah.
clear going to as a
Mm.
family. Now, once that is done, what I like telling young people is love have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
You know, these days people tend to overrate love. I love her, that's why I want
Mm.
to marry her. You can love a puppy for all I care. Love is something you can do easily. It does not cost you anything to start loving someone, right?
Yeah.
But you see, taking responsibility is what differentiates a
Mm.
boy from a man, not loving
Mm.
with the way they throw
Yeah.
love around these days. You know, the
Around
love
these
of these
days.
days is just in the speech, is Hollywood. I love you, I love you. Love from old school, it means I am adopting you as my responsibility. So if you know you don't have that spine
Mm.
to adopt the person as your responsibility, stop throwing those words around about love, both from the guy's side and
Mm.
from the girl's side. So the moment your visions align, you pledge your allegiance to each other to make this dream come true. Then the journey starts. So when you're giving birth, because of where you're going to, you that will determine the kind of school you want to send your children. That will determine the kind of environment you want to live. That will determine the time you want to spend with the children. That will determine the
Mm.
kind of games you allow them to play. That it will now start determining everything. So you're not just guessing. You know
Okay.
what is right and what is wrong based on where you are going to, based on your
Going to.
destination. Whether you should go to a public school or a private school, it is not because you have plenty money. Based on where you are
Yeah.
going to, that will be what will determine whether you want them to school in this side of town or the other side of town,
Yeah.
the kind of friends you want them to
Yeah.
have. All of it is determined by where you are going to. And it's something that every member of the family would know clearly. This is what we do in
Clearly.
this family. This family, we are traders, or this family, we are
Mm.
professionals, or this family, we are
Mm-hmm.
academicians, this family, we are whatever it is, it is very, very clear. So everybody's working towards that goal. Father,
Mm-hmm.
mother, kids, they are all working towards that goal. The kind of friends they have, the kind of people they mixed around with, all that is focused towards that goal. The moment we have that, then it wouldn't matter
Mm-hmm.
if you guys are raising yourself to be a family of farmers or a family of engineers or a family of teachers. You flourish because even the business of school now is big business. Business of farming is big business. So whichever one you pick, you will flourish. You will be bourgeois.
Yeah.
You will make it. You just have to be clear about
Mm.
it and work on it
About it
systematically to get to where you're going
systematically.
to. Yeah. So that's. I hope this answer is short enough and clear enough.
Yes, yes, he's short enough. He's short enough. I think we've, been able to do justice to the topic, and and we've dropped a lot of valuable insights for men all over the world to actually take from this. So yes, as we celebrate Fathers Day, I just felt the need to drop something for the men out there. To give them insights in how they can navigate this journey of fatherhood. And yes, I know that you may not all figure it out at once, because life is
Mm-hmm.
an ever increasing journey of learning and of growth.
True.
But I feel with
True.
these few nuggets, you have something that you can take, one or two things that you can take, that you can add into your life, that will make you become better. Because the goal of this channel is, new generation man, is to kind of like share insights into how we can be better men, creating a new generation of man that understands himself, that is
Mm.
empathetic, emotionally healthy, and balanced in all aspects of life. So thank you so much, Sam Samuels, for taking out the time, to
Thank you for having me.
jump on this. I really appreciate. And from time to time, I might still invite you again for another series, because I know that you
we'll,
have
we'll
so many
make our
gems
time.
that
We'll make our time.
you like to drop. So yes,
Yeah.
so guys, thank you so much for taking our time to watch this video. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and also share with your friends. We want to grow the channel to, as much as possible, and get people to know about this. And feel free to maybe send me an email, send me a private chat on my Instagram at Shegumbash, and I'll be glad to respond. Thank you so much again, Sam Samuel, for making our time. And
Thank you.
do enjoy the rest of your evening. All right. Thank you. All right. Bye,
All
guys.
right. Have a wonderful. Bye.
You too. Bye.